Hi, this is Wayne with Bassador Woodworking. There's a constant frustration in my shop, or I should be more specific, frustrations, and it's these expo markers for the whiteboard. Now, the whiteboard has a little ledge that you can put markers on, but the way that I have my workbench set up, I don't have access to that ledge. So today we're going to build a simple little cup to keep all my markers in. All things being equal, I don't want to spend any money on this because it's just a marker cup that's going to sit in my shop and fill mostly with sawdust. So I have this piece of 2x6, which is more accurately 1.5 by 5.5. I'm going to square this up and resaw it into thinner boards and just make a simple box out of it. The board I plan to use has the slightest bow to it, so I have a jointing jig set up on my table saw. I'm going to give each side one pass just to give myself a flat surface, and then I'll do one jointing pass, and that should flatten the side out. In order to resaw the board, I need to make multiple passes. I'm doing all of this on a single 20-amp breaker, so I wouldn't be able to cut halfway through the board without tripping the breaker in one pass. And then it's just a matter of doing some cleanup with the chisel. There was not a noticeable cup in the board, but just to be safe, I ran both pieces through the planer. The planer makes a gigantic mess. Typically, I would like to hook the shop back up to it, but once again, being on a single 20-amp breaker, my shop cannot support both at the same time, so I've learned to clean up the mess immediately afterwards or it doesn't get cleaned up. Alright, so the boards are resawed and planed, so that they're now flat and square. They are both about 15.5 inches long, which means that the sides of my box can be 3.25, and that leaves me enough for the blade kerf so that one side doesn't end up smaller than the other. I think 3.5 square will be perfectly fine for the set of markers I have. I don't want it to hold anything other than the markers, because then it will become a place where everything fills. So I'm perfectly happy having it be just a 3.25 square box. I'll probably mount it on the wall right next to the clamps anyway, so this is perfect. So let's now cut these down to 3.25. Okay, so I cut a rabbet on 2 of the sides, so now I have a nice fit. Now I'm just going to cut a dado in the bottom so that the bottom of the box can sit in without any fastener. Now to cut the dado, I could replace the blade on my saw with the dado stack, but I don't want to go through all that work of getting the right width and everything for essentially 4 cuts. So I'm just going to make multiple passes with my full kerf blade, so it should only be about 4 or 5 passes per board, and we should be all set. Okay, I have my dado cut in all 4 pieces, and it's a nice snug fit with my bottom. So now I just need to cut this bottom square so that it nests tightly in the bottom of the box. Okay, so after doing some rudimentary math, it looks like I need to make the bottom 3 inches by 2.5 inches. That should allow it plenty of room to slot in there without bowing the bottom of the box out. So I'm now going to cut the thinner piece down to 3 by 2.5, and we'll see if my math was right. So my slots are all cut. The bottom piece fits nice and tight in that joint. I don't think I could get that better as I actually been measuring, so that's good. I'm happy with it. So now we're just gonna put some glue into the joint, put these, slot the bottom in, and just throw some tacks in it until the glue dries. I decided to throw some clamps on it too because pin nails are just that, pins. They don't have a head on them, so if this is a tight fit, it can spread apart and just actually move over the pin nail. So some clamps will hold it in place while the glue dries. It's pretty cold in the shop today, so this is going to take a little bit. I'm going to turn the heaters on. I usually leave them off when I'm recording because it creates a bunch of background noise. Turn those on, and then we just do some finish sanding, and I'll probably just hit those with a layer of lacquer just so that it doesn't discolor over time. I actually like the color of pine when it just has lacquer on it, and this is shop stuff, so it doesn't really need to look nice. Okay, now that it has had some time for the glue to set, I'm going to unclamp it, take it over, give it a quick sanding, and then I'll hit it with 1 or 2 coats of spray lacquer, and then just let that dry for about 30 minutes, and then it's good to go. And there it is. Only took about an hour to make. That includes glue dry time and lacquer dry time, which accounts for roughly 40 minutes. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to keep up to date with new projects as they are released. And until next time.